Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to remind you of a couple of ways we can work together this year. So if you're listening to this the day the episode has gone live, the doors to the sisterhood are open until the 1st of February. So the link is in the show notes to become a member. This is my manifestation and mindset community for monthly live calls, monthly masterclasses, to enhance and continue on with your personal development journey so you can manifest your dream life in 2023 with accountability with all of your goals and tons more support. And if you want to go deeper together, working together one-to-one to really unlock who you are here to be in the world, to release and clear and heal all of the shit that has been holding you back and move into a space where you are completely in alignment with your dream life, taking conscious daily action, as well as feeling like a whole new version of yourself, then one-to-one coaching is for you. This is the most intimate and high-level way to work with me to get bespoke support with your unique goals. All my clients get access to me throughout the week on WhatsApp. We dive deep into the sessions, but you can also voice note me. It really is like having me as your cheerleader in life. Many of my clients love that and love that feeling of being supported. The link is in the show notes to apply. You can book a free call in February or as soon as I'm available, and I can't wait to hear from you. Welcome to the Put Yourself First podcast. I am your host, Kat Horrocks, mindset and manifestation coach for ambitious women ready to put themselves first and manifest a life even better than their vision board. And this bonus episode today is something fun, something that I wanted to do because this year for me, a big part of my vision board for 2023 is my wellness, my well-being. I'm just going to double check I'm recording. Yes, I am. You know when you get that paranoid feeling. So I wanted to talk about some of the health hacks, I guess you could say, just the additional things I've been doing that before would have been outside of my standard routine that have really added a hell of a lot into my life in terms of my energy, my well-being, my physical health, my mental health, my gut health, my hormonal health. Like, these are really holistic things that have a knock-on effect on so many different aspects. So as always, these are things that I'm doing. These are things that help me. These are things that I've done my own research on. They work for me. You've got to find what works for you, ultimately. Everyone is so different. Everyone is so unique. So, with that being said, let's get into it. The first is athletic greens. And some of you may be thinking, oh yeah, I've heard of that. I think if you listen to podcasts, I would be shocked if you've not heard of it, because athletic greens are big in the, wellness, spiritual, biohacking podcast community. And I have to admit, I was skeptical. It took me quite a while, a number of months of seeing one of my friends having it to try it for the first time. And what I was skeptical about is, you hear conflicting things with supplements, don't you? Some people are like avid anti-supplement. You can get everything you need from food. And some people are, I guess, avid supplement users, recommenders. I sit somewhere in the middle. I think supplements, like anything, like the name would suggest, they're supplementing your diet. So you can't just drink athletic greens and then never eat a vegetable. Like, that's not how it works. But what most people deal with day to day is gaps in their nutrition. It's just impossible to eat everything, the full variety of things that you actually would need to have, a thriving array of vegetables, of vitamins, of minerals, of, gut health, probiotics, all of that stuff. I think there's a lot of decision making that goes into, setting your diet up in a certain way. And we all know that when you're busy, your diet can be the first thing to go out the window. And when I say diet, I'm not meaning fad diet, restrictive diet. I'm literally meaning diet in the, as its definition is, your diet is just what you eat day to day, the food that you're eating. How you eat fluctuates. I can have a week where I am so busy that I eat eggs on toast every day, and I might not see a vegetable until dinner time because I've not prepped my homemade, hummus and carrot sticks, or I've not prepped a healthy soup for my lunch or a salad. I've not had a smoothie. I've not done those things because I've just been keeping my head above water with work. Now, is that normal? Should that be the norm? Absolutely not. But we've got to be realistic, I think. And there are going to be weeks where we're going to have gaps in our nutrition. And there are going to be weeks where we are eating really well and we're eating a really great array of fruits, vegetables, all protein, like all the things that make us personally feel good in our own diet, whether that is like eating meat, eating vegan, whatever. Athletic greens, I feel like, just is that, it's like an insurance policy for me. It's like an insurance policy because I think it would be very difficult for me to eat the amount of greens, and especially with probiotics, supplementing with a probiotic, as I'm going to get into gut health and hormonal health stuff, is really important to me in this phase of my life. I think especially if you're coming off the back of either like restrictive eating or overeating or a weird fad diet or anything like that, which, let's face it, unfortunately the majority of women are, your gut health is probably something that you could nurture a little bit more. So read up on athletic greens. I mean, I'm not one to say you need to take it or that it's gonna have, it's gonna be like a magic supplement that's gonna fix everything. What I can speak about is my own personal experience. My hair is growing quicker than it has in ages. And I mean the little baby hairs, because there's biotin in there. And I think because it's a powder, a greens powder, it's more like bioavailable, especially because I drink it on an empty stomach in the morning. So I think that increases the effectiveness of the absorption, basically. So my hair is like the baby hairs that I have are growing longer, quicker, which is great because I had a lot of hair loss a few years ago. So it's been a recovery process from there. My hormonal, like my period and my menstrual cycle is improving, which is a big thing for me, and I'll get onto that in a little bit. I have a lot more energy, and I would say I can't remember the last time I had brain fog, which feels really good. There are just subtle shifts that I feel in myself, that I feel better now than I did a few months ago. Bearing in mind I've been having it every day for like 2 months at this point. And I'm going to do it for as long as I can. I do at some point, I'm curious to compare it with something else, another maybe like greens powder or something, just to see if it's one of those things where if you stop taking it, you notice a negative impact, and whether, because I think it's good to really learn your own body and learn your own symptoms and everything. But for now, I am taking Athletic Greens every day and loving it. I have the cutest setup. I am very blessed to have such a lovely partner. Every morning Adam brings me a cup of tea in bed, and that has been the case since we moved in together almost 3.5 years ago. And basically, once I started having Athletic Greens, I said, it says you should take it first thing in the morning, so I'm going to be having this first thing in the morning. And then the next morning, like clockwork, I have my cup of tea and my Athletic Greens delivered to me in bed. So I have been very consistent with that, thanks to Adam. And before anyone is like, you're a prin, hell yes I am. But also, I have a partner who is acts of service is his love language. So he loves it. He loves doing those little things for me. And I love to receive them with gratitude. So Athletic Greens is the biggest shift I've made in my well-being over the past couple months. And I've noticed a massive difference. And I think like a lot of these things, it's not just the greens powder that it's not that it's an overnight quick fix, but it is an identity shift, isn't it? It is a habit shift into, I am the kind of person who invests in this. It's not cheap. It's an investment in your health, Athletic Greens, which is another reason I'm curious maybe to compare it to some others. But from everyone I heard who takes it, they all said the same thing. They were like, it's worth it. It's worth it. And I feel different when I drink it than when I don't drink it. And I think for me, it also encourages me to really make the most of my overall diet to then reap even more benefits from it. Because, for example, if you're going to work on your gut health and take a probiotic and a prebiotic, like is in Athletic Greens, you also then want to make sure that the rest of your diet is supporting your gut health, fibre, lots of fruits and veggies, like all the things that we know we need to do. But I think sometimes one small daily habit can have that knock-on effect. The next thing, moving away from nutrition and into sleep, is my Levitex pillow. This has come into my life and can never leave. When you get something and you can't imagine your life without it again because it makes such a difference. And if you go one day without it, you're like, I need it back. That is how I feel about this friggin' pillow. It is an ergonomically designed pillow, but with a big difference, because the majority of pillows that are marketed for neck pain, back pain, all of that kind of stuff are memory foam. And memory foam feels really great because you sink into it, you get that feeling like that, sinking into it. But what most people are doing is not sleeping with the right pillow, the right size pillow, and in the correct position. So Levitex reached out to me ages ago, like last year, maybe even the year before, talking about this pillow, wanting to gift me one, wanting to, so basically I had this sleep consultation with the founder, James, and he was asking me about how I sleep. And I have always slept previously. I fall asleep on my back, and then in the middle of the night, I go on my stomach. And I do it really specifically. I have to pull the pillow towards me, like my arms are under the pillow, and one of my legs is up. And my chiropractor has been telling me for years not to do this because it is a significant factor in neck pain if your neck is twisted whilst you sleep. But something about the way that James talks about it, because if you go onto Levitex's Instagram or TikTok, you'll see videos where he is showing you the difference in your spinal health, in how your spine is aligned on the bed as you sleep. So, in a nutshell, lying on your side is the best sleeping position for your spinal health. And he basically talks about how most people think that, things like injuries or aches and pains come from, I've overdone it at the gym, or I've done this, or I've done this. But we forget that if we are contorting ourselves in a way that is putting pressure on our neck, pressure on our shoulders, pressure on our hips, pressure on our spine, it's no wonder that if we're laying these positions for 8 hours, 7 days a week, that is contributing to it. And I always thought it was normal to wake up and have a stiff neck and need to stretch, and it is not normal. And the first night with this pillow, I noticed a massive difference, and I woke up and it was like, I don't feel that urge to stretch out my neck and ease like the tension in it. Honestly, this is one of those things I think you've got to experience it to believe it, because you might be listening to this like, I can't remember the last time my neck wasn't tight. But believe me, I think so many people could benefit from finding a good either, sports massage or chiropractor, whatever is going to work for you to undo any tension and any issues that have been created by things like this. But then look into this Levitex pillow, because if you are someone who values sleep, like sleep to me is one of the most important aspects of my health and putting myself first, changing your pillow could completely change how you feel when you wake up in the morning. And when I go on holiday, I can't stand it. I basically end up sleeping on my back for as much as I can, because if you're sleeping on your back, it's okay for your spine as long as the pillow is nice and small, like a soft pillow that you can lie flat with, rather than a massive pillow that is putting extra tension on your neck. But yeah, when I go on holiday, I hate not having my Levitex pillow, and I've even taken it sometimes if I've been in the UK, or if I've gone somewhere where I can. I saw on their Instagram as well, they're coming out with a travel version which I will 100% be getting, so that even if I'm flying and I don't want to use up my luggage space, because it is quite a chunky pillow, because it's made with this specific type of foam that's not memory foam, so it doesn't it supports your neck essentially, rather than memory foam. You kind of sink into it and it can contort your neck. He's designed a travel version that you can roll up, so I'm gonna give that a go when it comes out. So we've talked about greens powder, we've talked about pillow, we've talked about hormonal health. Let me dig into this. So the third thing I want to talk about is a book called Woman Code by Elisa Vitti. I think her last name is spelled Vitti. I'll make sure to link all of this in the show notes. This book is a really great breakdown of hormonal health as a woman. So if you want to learn about your cycle, or you want to learn about your period, but you also then want tangible things that you can do to correct and alleviate the symptoms that you're experiencing, get this book. I, for so long, have wanted to get started on cycle syncing my diet. And if you want me to do a whole episode on this, I can. I know it's not necessarily relevant to mindset and manifestation, but it 100% is relevant to you showing up as your best self, which is a huge part of manifestation. And especially when it comes to feminine energy, if you're not working with your cycle, you're working against it, you're missing out on embracing a really beautiful part of being a woman. And you're experiencing negative symptoms like brain fog, terrible cramps, really heavy periods, really horrible PMS, the list can go on. And many of those symptoms you can gain relief from using the principles in this book. So it's basically lifestyle changes, nutrition advice to tailor your lifestyle, your diet, even your fitness routine around your cycle. So eating certain foods at different parts of your cycle to support where your hormones are at. For example, when you're in the first part of your cycle, you are obviously, I say obviously, if you don't know this, get the book because she explains it really well. But in the first part of your cycle, your estrogen is rising because this is your follicular phase and ovulation phase. Essentially, your body is preparing to release an egg and potentially get pregnant, which is estrogen is driving that and rising. But what many people don't know, and learning this has blown my mind, is if we produce excess estrogen, or we're not supporting our body to get rid of the excess estrogen, then that is when symptoms like heavy, painful periods, a heavy flow, things like mood swings can come up because we're not supporting our liver, we're not supporting our gut health to carry through the excess hormones that we're producing. And things like eating tons of fibre, cruciferous veg, which is basically like broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, all the veg that makes you gassy basically, because it's got tons of fibre in, and it's like a broom, like flushing out anything that doesn't need to be there. That is an example of something to simply focus on in the first half of your cycle to support that process. And all of these little tweaks have just made me feel so in tune with my body. What I'm doing now is I have my list of my veg that I am focusing on eating in different parts of my cycle. Obviously, it's not like you can't eat the other veg when you're not in that phase. We get HelloFresh anyway, so I eat all sorts of things throughout the week. But to make sure that I'm eating certain veg in that week, I am making myself a big soup. In spring, summer, when it gets warmer, I'm going to start doing big salads or prepping like rice and chicken with some cooked veg, and just really taking that extra time, and I'm talking an extra 10 minutes when you're doing your shopping list, or an extra half an hour, you know, if you're cooking anyway, if you're cooking Sunday lunch or whatever anyway, whilst the oven is already on, whilst you're eating, just roast some veg, get a hand blender, bit of veg stock, seasoning, soup, done for the week. And you've got this nutritious hit of veggies and goodness that is just going to make you feel so good. So the Woman Code book has been really, really beneficial. And that, I would say, paired with the athletic greens, I'm just on top of the world with my energy. I'm just loving it. Moving on to more fitness and physical movement. The next thing is Evolve You, which is a fitness app made by Chrissy Cheller. And I know now there are hundreds of fitness apps, and it is overwhelming, I'm sure in January especially, on like which one to pick, what's going to work for you, what workouts do you like. So from my perspective, Evolve You is the best app I have used for weight training. So if you are someone who loves going to the gym and loves weight training, you will love Evolve You, because it really does focus on building your strength, building your lifts, lifting heavier, feeling stronger, and it then incorporates things like a mobility warm-up, or doing some sprints at the end of your session, or taking a deload week, where a deload week is like a week where you're not doing your big sessions at the gym and you're instead going for a long walk or doing some mobility. All of these things, again, it's like the decision making can be so overwhelming that it's no wonder people just go, oh, I'm sacking that off. Like with the athletic greens, it's like if you tell people, no, you can get everything from food, and this is the list of everything you need to eat, it's like it's overwhelming for people, so they don't do it. And it's the same for me, and it has been the same in the past with fitness. If it's boring and it's the same, or if it's overwhelming and complicated, because I'm like, right, well, I need to focus on mobility because that's going to help me not be injured, but I also need to make sure I'm lifting heavy. But like, what reps do I need to do? I can't remember what weight I lifted 2 weeks ago. Am I supposed to put the weight up now? Oh my god, I can't remember the last time I did cardio or abs. And it's like all of these things are just done for you. And that is priceless for me with the gym. Because when I'm at the gym, that is my time to like pause in my day. I always go to the gym during the day. I always go either like mid-morning or lunchtime, early afternoon. I would say that's like my sweet spot. And usually I've done some work in the morning and I've got work in the afternoon, evening. So my gym is like my pause in the day. I don't want to have to think about what I'm doing. I don't want to have to think like, oh, well, I guess I need to do a mobility warm-up. What exercises should I do? You just press a button and it's there. And it says, you know, body weight squats, warm-up, 10 sets, go, done. This stretch, do it, amazing, done, go. Right, first exercise, barbell squat, 10 reps. Okay, great, 10 reps. This is the weight I've done. I'm logging the weight. It tells, like, you can see the history of the weights that you've logged so that you can lift heavier next time if you want to. It's just so good. Such a great app. And there are tons of other workouts on there. I would say even if you work out from home, you'll still get tons from it, because there's like HIIT workouts on there, there's weights workouts at home if you have like dumbbells or kettlebells or whatever, there's bar workouts, there's yoga, there's a lot on there. If anyone is interested, I'm currently doing Chrissy's lower body strong program, which is essentially for girls who want to lift heavy and build that booty, which is me. So it's great because there's different trainers, there's different levels. You can do beginner, intermediate, advanced. There's different times, so you can be like, I'm a beginner and I want to go 3 times a week. Or like I did, I was like, I'm intermediate and I want to go 4 times a week. So it's really great. I really rate it. I used it throughout last year. So I've used it for a full year at this point, and I've just renewed it for another year on the annual subscription because I think it's the best fitness app I've used, and even the best weight training programming I've done in the gym. Like, I really do feel like I'm progressing and I love it. So recommend. The last thing I want to talk about is breathwork. Now, I've mentioned breathwork tons on the podcast, so this isn't new information. I interviewed more recently Josh Connolly. I think his episode was from like, I want to say September, October time. If you scroll back, you can find it. I've done breathwork with him in his program in Oooh. I've done breathwork with a friend and previous coach / mentor that I've worked with, Amy Rushworth. I've done tons of, one-off random breathwork sessions here and there. And I thought it was about time that I just trained in it myself, because it has been one of my go-to resources and healing tools for the past couple years. And I feel like my clients are now, it's like the world is missing out on not experiencing breathwork. So if I can train in it and share it with you, share it with my clients, share it with my members, my community, then that's just more people who are going to get to experience it, because it is fucking magic. So if you've not heard of breathwork is essentially manipulating the breath, because breathing is the only thing that is conscious and unconscious at the same time. So we don't need to think about breathing. It's not like on our to-do list, but we can also become aware of how we're breathing, and we can consciously manipulate our breathing. So there are so many different types of breath work. What I am training in is conscious connected breathing, or you may have, from a scientific perspective, it's like connected hyperventilation or something like that, because what's happening, and Wim Hof is quite similar if you've ever done that, you're taking in more oxygen than you are exhaling CO2. So you're hyper oxygenating your body, and what happens is you experience physical symptoms of that, like tingling. You can get numbness, you can get there's all sorts of physical experiences that you can have. But why breathwork is so fantastic is it's amazing for emotional release. It's incredible for your nervous system. Even for, from a Wim Hof perspective, he talks about the immunity benefits of it. There's like a crazy study that he did where I think scientists injected him with E. coli or something fucking wild like that, and he didn't get ill because he was doing his breathwork practice, which is hyper oxygenating your blood, essentially, taking in a hell of a lot of oxygen. It's like in the same way that when you working out is putting stress on your body, but it is strengthening it. Breathwork is the conscious connected breathing is putting that putting that pressure on yourself, but in a good way, in order to in order to make you more emotionally resilient, or allow you to release and process things that are coming up. The course that I'm doing, there's breathwork for manifestation, there's breathwork to activate higher awareness, there's breathwork for releasing limiting beliefs. There's so many ways that you can use breathwork, but I've been really loving doing my own study of it, but as part of that, doing a weekly, it's a non-negotiable, a weekly breathwork session now, because shortly, in the next couple months, I'm going to be beginning using it. I'm going to be beginning doing sessions with clients and doing group sessions. So it's really important for me that I am really grounded in my own practice with it, as with anything, so that I'm practicing what I preach, and I am going through, even the playlist and the breathwork session I'm creating. I want to go through that myself as well. So breathwork is such a fantastic tool for your well-being. It's, like I said, amazing for your nervous system. So great for just accessing unconscious parts of yourself and trapped emotions in your body. And it's so powerful to have, for example, an emotional release, and you don't need to know why you had that release. It's not like you're re-traumatizing yourself by thinking about, oh my God, today I'm going to do this because XYZ happened to me. You can just do the breath work, and your body and your spirit is going to do what it needs to do. It's going to release what it needs to release. And I very often after breath work feel like I've had a really great therapy session, and all I've done is lay there and breathed and received a message from my higher self, or journaled afterwards, or pulled a card, and it is magic. So breath work, more coming on that very soon, but I had to include it in this because for well-being and for health and fitness, and just thinking about feeling your absolute best, what better way to give yourself that gift of lying there for an hour, coming out of that experience feeling amazing every time. I always feel, just like the gym, that satisfaction feeling you get after a workout, even if during the workout it felt hard. Because during breath work, sometimes it feels hard, sometimes it's difficult, but I always come away feeling 10 times better. So, to recap, and I'll make sure all of this is linked below, I've been drinking my athletic greens every day. I've been sleeping with my Levitex pillow every night for over, I want to say, 8 months now at least. Could not be without it. Cannot remember the last time I had neck pain. Cannot remember the last time I had back pain. Or that need to stretch and crack my neck in the morning. I don't feel that at all anymore. My neck feels amazing. The Evolve You app for the gym and for weightlifting specifically in my case. The book Woman Code by Elisa Vitti for making shifts to your health and lifestyle and food for your hormonal health and working with your cycle. And finally, breathwork, which is something I'm going to be offering very soon in a couple months' time once I am certified. So that is me. Those are my health hacks, health tweaks that I'm doing and I'm feeling really good with, I would love to hear yours, because I used to be such a geek with this kind of stuff. I was a proper health nut, and not that I'm going back to that because I was a bit too OTT with it and a bit restrictive, a lot restrictive. But my best self, like my higher self, as I'm moving forward, she does prioritise her well-being, and it is part of her life. So if you have like, oh my god, Kat, you need to try this greens powder. Oh my god, Kat, this type of breath work was amazing for me, or this is what I do to nurture my mental health and nervous system. Like, I would love to hear those things. So just DM me on Instagram if you want to let me know. And I will speak to you all soon. Have a great weekend.